Hello and welcome to StoryDev. My name is Luke, also known as Tienery, and we are going to be starting our very first video in the Story Creator series. Starting us off with redesigning the way our form should look and also removing many options that currently exist in the menus. To give a bit of history while we time-lapse here, StoryDev was very much designed to work with a specific template and feature set in mind. This was when we had announced our video game Age of Atlantis, which was also going to be an interactive story. Perhaps it would be best to explain why we seemingly keep changing our minds. Shadowlight and Age of Atlantis appear in two different places in the spiritual transition timeline. Age of Atlantis was designed to start in the middle, effectively as a way to introduce people to the franchise while keeping things relatively approachable. After much consideration, it was made clear that the story Shadowlight was required, which involves the backstory to pretty much everything that goes on within the spiritual transition. We felt that this decision was better due to Shadowlight providing us the opportunity to explore the realms of the Angie and where they come from. Of course, that would all make sense if you had access to my brain, but that's obviously not going to happen. So, without further ado, let's actually get started and actually start working on Story Creator properly. So the first thing I'll be doing here is just setting myself up to make sure that when I open a project I'm not loading all of these resources unnecessarily, because we'll actually be pretty much refactoring and removing most of this stuff that was previously available in the current version. So we will do that right this minute. Next thing I want to be able to do is to iterate over all of the folders that we retrieve from our chapters folder. So all of the directories that exist in our chapters folder, we're going to get all of the files that exist within that directory, and basically all I'm looking for is a StoryDev conversation. I don't want to pick up any other additional files there. And also the idea behind this is we want to be able to put this all into a single array that we can then use to access globally when we open a project. So let's just time lapse here to complete that process. Here I just give myself a utility function to allow us to push into an array, because we don't actually have this ability by default in CSharp, so we just implement something fairly quickly here. And we start, of course, using that function we've just added, add the file name to that files array. First thing I'm going to do is just test to make sure that works. Got a bit of a issue here, just remove that and delete that code there so that we can compile and test. Got a bit of an issue there, and we don't actually need that anymore, but we do just double check for that anyway, just to be sure. Double check that the cache actually exists. Open up one of our folders. Couldn't find part of that file, which was a little odd. So instead, what we actually end up doing is I try this little thing here where I'm going through each of the individual chapters, and I pretty much just do the same thing. As I did previously. Files I declare below the call to reload chapters, so that's before we even start using the files array, which is of course not good, so we put that in the right place, and then we get our files, which is the result that I was looking for, which was good. So we add a new menu item, which we then use to create a new control or form, basically. This form is basically going to be the area of the editor where we will be able to add a couple of components and make it better. Right, you heard me correctly. We're going to make this form better and not make it look dull. But that's going to be the end of this video. So like I say, this is going to be fairly short videos, so thank you very much for watching. In the next video we will in fact be populating that form and actually making it look like it's going to be doing something. We'll be iterating over through those files that we just created, and we'll also be able to show how that is then presented in this form, and we'll be able to navigate between the files, open them into the currently existing conversation editor, and then go from there. So once again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time.